welcome to another lesson of Principle of Business, grade 10 students. In today's lesson, we are going to look at the function of a business in terms of why do people start a business, the reasons for establishing a business. We're also going to look at the persons who have interest in the business. Those persons are known as stakeholders. So for today's lesson, the objectives are, at the end of the lesson, all students should be able to define the function of a business and to give at least 3 examples of the reason why a person would want to start a business. At the end of the lesson, students are also expected to define the term stakeholders, to categorize stakeholders, to list and explain the roles of stakeholders. Okay, so what you're seeing here, this picture, it is depicting the function of a business. We have internal functions, external functions, and then we have the supporting functions. If you look underneath the column for internal functions, you'll see that how do we get finance to start the business? Acquisition of finance, meaning where did you go to get finance to start a business? Did you get it from a friend? Was it in your saving account? And then we look at purchasing of raw materials. What are the resources that you use to start your business? And then we look at hiring of labor. Who is it that we need to hire to do the business? We're talking about employees now. Who is it that we need in our business to work with us? And then we look at overhead expenses. Are we going to pay our light bills, our water bills? Are we going to pay salaries? And then we look at the production of goods. What types of goods and services are we going to provide? What type of business is this? And then if in your spare time I want you to look at the external function. What is it that helps us to make our business profitable? And the word profit explain revenue that you get from sales. So all the revenue that you get from sale refers to your profit. Okay? So reasons for establishing business. Some of the reasons for establishing a business is to provide goods and services, to make a profit, as I just explained, right? We want to provide income for government. So when we start a business, we pay what is called taxes to the government. We also start a business to create employment. Isn't that so, students? We also start a business so that we can be our own boss. Because a lot of times people don't want to listen to others or don't want to take orders from others. So just like some of you students, when I give you the homework, you don't want to do it yet. You want to be your own teacher. Don't. All right. So your homework is to find out some other reasons why a business may establish or a person might want to start a business. Good? And one of the biggest one is to provide goods and services of quality and fair pricing to customers. And the second one is definitely, right, to make a profit. Okay, so students, profit is not the legitimate purpose of the business. So don't try to start a business just to make a profit. The legitimate purpose of a business is to provide a product or a service that people need and do it so well that it is profitable. So what this is saying that once your product is good and your services that you offer are very good, then you will make a profit in the end. Okay? So now, let us look on some of the persons who are interested in our business. So the minute we start our business, there are so many people who are interested in our business. These persons are called stakeholders. And there are 2 categories of stakeholders. We have internal stakeholders and we have external stakeholders. Now when you look at this picture, it is telling you all the persons or everyone that is considered to be a stakeholder. So we have owners, customers, government, employees, suppliers, lenders, who is the same as the bank who will lend us money, community and society. And these stakeholders are divided into two categories, internal and external. Now let us put them in their categories. So let us look on the internal stakeholders: employees, managers, owners, and then let us look on our external stakeholders. We have suppliers, we have customers, we have the society, we have the government, we have the creditors, and we have the shareholders. Now students, remember that you are doing a concept book, and all these terms should be in your concept book, right? And you should have the definition for each of these terms in your concept book. Now, let us look on the roles of each stakeholder. So, from your POB book, your Principle of Business for CSEC business book, you're going to turn to page 26. And you're going to look on the roles of stakeholders in a business. I'm going to explain two internal stakeholders, the roles. The first one I'm going to look at are managers. What are the roles of managers? Managers plan, they organize, they control, they make decisions, and they protect the interests of the owners and investors. Then I'm going to look on a very important stakeholders. Employees. Without the employees, there is no production. Production cannot take place. Okay, so the employees' roles, meaning what? What does roles mean? Alright? Is to carry out the various activities assigned to them. Okay? In order for them to get paid at the end of the week or the end of the month, they must carry out their duty. Just like you students, if you want to get a mark, you want to get a grade, you want to be top achiever, you want to become first in a class, you must carry out the task that the teacher gives to you. And you must submit them at the end of the duration that the teacher stipulated. So if the teacher say that homework is due next week, then next week, Wednesday, is when you should upload your work. So that's what it means when it speaks about your role as a student, the role as an employee. Okay? Now, I'm going to look at two roles of an external. So what we just looked at was two internal, managers and employees. Remember now. Now I'm going to look at two roles of external stakeholders. The first one, very important, and they call these people the backbone of the business. Okay? So we're going to look at two external stakeholders. The first one, they said, is the backbone, as I just explained. The customers, otherwise known as the consumers. These are the backbone of the business. They buy the goods and they consume it. A business is obliged or obligated to understand the needs of the customers and to meet their needs. In order to meet their needs, they must provide products and services at reasonable prices and of good quality. The next one that I'm going to look at is the government. The business is expected to comply with the regulation that govern their operation. They're supposed to pay their taxes, and they're supposed to keep the environment clean. So, remember now, we just spoke about the external stakeholders, the roles, all right, of the business to these stakeholders. Good? So, in the next lesson, we are going to look at the types of business organization. So, I'm going to tell you from now. Go to page 27 of your Principle of Business textbook, and you're going to start reading on forms and management of business organization. Thank you for listening. Okay, so let us do a recap. So we say it is very important to always think about ethics, meaning doing the right thing from the wrong thing. Think about your employee commitment. Be committed to your employee because you do need them in the business. Think about how you're going to satisfy your investors and your customer. How you're going to be loyal to them. Confidential things that is said to you, right? Think about the legal problems and penalties as it relates to government if you do not follow the regulation. Alright? Think about customer satisfaction. How are you going to satisfy your customers? So when you're starting a business, you have to think about all these things. The ability to build relationship with stakeholders. Think about your cost. Alright? Are you spending too much than what you're gaining? Think about the performance of the business, the revenue and your profits. Think about the reputation of your business. Don't let people speak bad about your business, alright? So these are just some of the things that we look at, the reason why people start a business, and the functions of the business, and the persons who have an interest in your business. So stakeholders, those are the persons who have a common interest in your business. And we have internal and external stakeholders, alright? Thank you. See you for the next lesson.